Well, we're delighted to welcome Bobby Moncur. Here's our guest today. In my humble opinion, if you were picking the top 5 greatest Newcastle United players of all time, Bob would be in there.
Very kind of you, Alan.
Yeah, that's to make up for that tea you drank on me being in Barbados that day when we were...
Which you weren't paying for, by the way.
Right. The day before Graham Souness got sacked.
Correct, yeah.
There was more beer drunk the next day. I can say that, you can. Wigan, Bob, Saturday, 6-pointer. How many times have we seen this with Newcastle United?
Well, you say 6-pointer, Alan. It's another game that Joe Kinnear has got to try and motivate the troops. And to be fair, last week at Fulham, I thought apart from the first 25 minutes, when to be fair, I thought they played quite well. I think that was the difference. They played well. But clearly, we were discussing before the game who would be centre half. Taylor was out. Kasapa got the nod, and to me, I said before the game on Century Radio that I think Basong, because he's young, he's coming through. Kasapa's maybe had his day, and I just thought, the club's going to go forward, throw the youngsters and give them a chance. And I think Basong's quite a quality player. So I think it was an individual error. Second half, I thought they played very well, even to the back end. The first half, second half, I thought they were doing very well, and as everybody's openly stated, when it was 1-0, we're all saying that Newcastle are going to get 3 points here. But again, individual error again, which cost us the game. Sad. But I thought the spirit, I think Joe was doing a decent job there.
Yeah. Saturday, Titus.
Oh, well.
I mean, I think we've got to be fair to Titus, Bob. I mean, he had some tremendous games for Newcastle, and this is what means that Bobby always fell out over mistakes.
Well, I was a champion of, as you well know, for Titus. I thought he had the makings. I'm like Sir Bobby. I thought he had the makings of a really good central half. But again, you're right what you say, Alan, a little bit like Kasapa on Saturday. Making his mistake as a centre half, and he made them regularly, and he kept making the same mistakes. And I was very disappointed that he couldn't sort of clear his head and say, "I'm just going to do the simple things." Because when he made his mistakes, half the time it was because he was trying to look a good player. I'm not saying he wasn't a good player, but he was trying to do things that he wasn't capable of. And I just think, it's like thinking too much. What a great saying in the old days, give a good player time and space to destroy you. Give a bad player time and space to destroy yourself. And to a degree, that's what Titus did at times. But I still think the lad, I thought he had the makings of a good player, but just individual errors, and eventually got worse and worse. And I think it started mentally got to him. I think it was he had a mental problem. I don't mean that in terms of, but I mean he had a mental block at times, and that cost him.
What price has a Storming game on Saturday?
It scores a goal or something. Yeah, you can bet your boots that might just happen. Now, hopefully it won't.
Yeah, I know you've had a little spell away, Bob, and on your boat, as you call it, we would call it the catamaran in the West Indies. You came back, and you nearly ran down the stairs the first day I saw you to say, "What's happened to Shola Amiobi?" And the kid, we're announcing tonight, Bob, that he's playing the month for October.
Well, not only was it Amiobi, I thought there was a few players, and we haven't been away 3 weeks or 3 and a bit weeks. I missed a few games, and I just couldn't believe the change in Amiobi. And I can only put that down to Joe and his training staff, because Amiobi, I have said, he's a little bit like Titus. You can see the talent he's got, but he's just never realised it. And when I saw him, I've always said, I'm told, I don't know the lad. I know of him, obviously, but I don't know him well. Everybody says he's a lovely lad, and that's half his trouble.
Yes.
And when I came out, watched the game against Aston Villa, he was what he should have been. I've said all along, if he had a bit more aggression and a bit more will, he would be a good player. And he showed that on last Monday night gone. And I just thought to myself, somebody's done something to him, because he's doing all the things he should have been doing 6-7 years ago. And if he continues to show that aggression, he has to do it away from home as well, mate. If he showed that aggression, he's a handful, because I thought he destroyed the 2 Aston Villa centre halves. They were nervous wrecks at the end of the day.
I mean, I just wonder, Joe's talking about Amiobi in the Chronicle tonight, and then his last comment saying that the 2 strikers have worked the socks off. I just wonder, Bob, if on Saturday, if it'll be Shola and Martins again, or will Michael? I mean that chance Michael missed. You would have at Fulham on Saturday. You would have put your money on your life on it. I
think that was probably both of them trying to get the same ball, him and Amiobi. But at least they got in the right spot. And as all the great strikers keep saying to me, you've got to get there to miss them. And I think Michael Owen will always do that. Who would I play? I think Joe will probably go with Amiobi, because he's going to hopefully try and upset a few defenders, which he's good at doing if he has the right attitude. Who would I play up front? I would go for Michael Owen, but that's not my personal choice, because he is the finished article. he will score goals. I know he missed that one at Fulham, but Michael Owen, to me, he's not just a good goal scorer, but he's also a good footballer. Martin's, well, we know him, he's up and down, does things, sensational stuff at times, but sometimes looks a poor player at times. And I would just go for the man who's proved he can do it. However, I have a feeling that Joe might just say, well, let's give Martins another chance, and it's nice to have Michael Owen sitting on the bench. You know, beginning of the season, well, 2 or 3 games in the season, well, nobody did we. Now all of a sudden we've got an international striker of quality sitting on the bench, so that's good news.